Let's see. There we go. So today what we're going to talk about are email signatures and how to stay out of spam. How would you like it if more of your emails got in front of the people you intended them for? Would you like that, or do you just not even care? They can go to spamola. So what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of images in your emails. Now let's talk about this. And if you can come off camera, I'd love to have this discussion with you. And Steve, you have to hold your tongue. And George, you have to hold your tongue because you know what I'm going to say. What is the difference between using command to market to your database and using your Keller Williams business email? What is the difference between the two? Or do you feel they're the same? And there's no wrong answer. George, calm down. I'll give you a minute if they don't.
One tracks things and the other doesn't.
That's one of them. That's absolutely one of them, Laura. Thank you. What else? Should you be blast emailing from a KW email or Gmail browser where you're logged in, you write the email, and off it goes? Okay. Next question. Are the people you're conversing with from your business email people you're in conversation with, doing business with, and know you? In your KW Gmail or your business email. Maybe you have a preferred, maybe you have your own URL, your vanity URL. Are all those people we do business with know us? If they walk by us in the market center, would they say hello? Because they know us? If you go to the market center? Listen, George's head is going to pop off his body if I don't take him off of mute to talk to me about this. Do you see him getting all excited? So let's think of it this way. The people you are conversing with via email are people you're in business with already. They know you. They're the lenders, they're the market center, they're your clients. They could be the co-broke. Who else would we talk to from our KW Gmail? That's about it, right? I mean, besides getting blasted by every other realtor who doesn't think we each have MLS. I mean, right? Copy paste. So here's the thing. Command and when you're sending out emails should have those gorgeous, and they put them in automatically, friends. Header and footer in all our emails. But when we are conversing in our business email, and now this is going to hurt, take a deep breath. You don't need your pictures in there. I said it. I said it. You don't need your pictures in there. Why?
I know
Because
who you are.
they know who you are. Here's the other thing. We've got all these rules when it comes to email. How many of you have had an email string with a transaction coordinator that is 40 long and you've got to scroll and scroll and scroll because the images are stacked up and you've got 40 signatures in there and you're like, I just need to know the day they signed. Is it done? Right? We can't get to those messages because not only do you have a picture signature that comes in on every reply, but so does the TC and everybody else involved in this. So now you have this email that weighs about 600 pounds. You can't print it out and carry it around. And at some point, it may hit a spam filter. We're not going to read this now, but on my website, I do write a lot of articles and cite information that I find from around the web to help keep us out of spam. So one of the biggest things is you cannot, even if you blind copy 600 recipients, so you're in your KW email, you're writing away about a property or something that's coming up, you cannot put everybody in the CC or the BCC. That's blind copy. Right? Carbon copy, back in the day, you used to put something in your typewriter. That's why it works. That's how old I am. And then blind copy, which means somebody's getting it, but you don't want the other people to see who's getting it. What happens is Gmail actually has a limit. Most mail providers do. You can only send so many emails per day. When you go over that limit, you automatically get every email put in a spam bucket. So you could say we're just going to throw a number on there. I'll have to pull the latest Gmail one, but say you're only allowed 1,000 emails sent out a day from your email. Soon as you send 1,001, it goes to that person's spam. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care that it's an important document, because how all these mail providers act or operate is that you're being spammy, because most users would not send 1,000 emails from a business email where they're transacting business. That's a marketing function. Does that make sense? So then you start adding things like images, and I'm going to give you guys something that you can copy and paste and make your own. So that way it doesn't end up in spam. The other thing is sometimes we use a lot of links in our email signatures, right? Find me on Facebook. I've got Tickety Talk. Here's my YouTubies. Download my app. Here's my website. And a lot of those things we put behind maybe a trace link, like a bit.ly or a tiny.url. There's all these links. So sometimes other spam engines, especially when you work if you're sending someone at like a financial firm, Putnam, Fidelity, their spam filters will see multiple links and automatically start to think, ooh, this could be phishing or spam. So then your stuff starts to end up in spam bins. And the more you end up in spam, you get this spam rating. Raise your hand if you knew you can see your spamminess rating in command from the things you're sending from command. Did you know that? Under reports, you can see if you're a spammer. It will tell you. It's amazing.
Brooke, if I just want to throw out, if you're using your KW email, that's a business account. That gives you the 1,000 a day. If you're using a Gmail personal account, it's like 150 a day.
Yeah.
Or is it 5? It's a lot lower.
And personal Gmails like at gmail.com are more likely to hit a spam bucket with a signature than a business email or domain that you may purchase through KW. The KW domain protects you in your business. Isn't that cool? I know, right, Laura? So how we found this out in our world was the director of First Impressions came to me and she said, everything I send ends up in spam. I said, well, show me how you're sending it. And within a minute, I was like, we have 458 agents. And if you're sending 6 emergent emails a day about a check or a wire or something, you're hitting that before noon. So of course, everything you need to send to us that's important goes into spam. And yes, your email keeps getting shut off and you have to unlock it for a reason. This is why we use things like Command and MailChimp and Constant Contact to keep us out of spam jail. The other thing is we're really good at select all, copy, paste. Oh, I'll send it to everyone. Here's another thing that hurts your rating. So when you get a lot of bounce backs, all of a sudden spam and all these email engines are going to start looking at you and go, do they have permission? Because when you have permission and you get correct information, you have less bounce backs. So they're looking at things like how many times does something bounce because it's incorrect, or you get marked as a spammer, or people are unsubscribing. All these things lead up. And I'll tell you, the bigger your database gets, the more unsubscribes you will get, and that's okay. It's when you add the bounce backs because of incorrect information or wrong emails, or maybe they move jobs and we're using that as the primary, that's when things start to get big. The other thing is word count. When you get past 500 words, all of a sudden that's a book. And here's the other thing. We want click-through rates. We want people to click through to do something so we know they're interacting with our stuff. Open rates are BS. They are. So what happens is George sends me an email. My spam filter opens the email, reads it, and then marks it as unread. So that could give us a false positive with some emails, thinking people are opening our email and reading them. Click through is the money. No, Colleen, that doesn't. I'm going to explain the logo in a moment and the imageries. But David, do you have a question?
Yes. What's the easiest, and maybe this isn't a call for that, but what's the easiest way to create and send an email inside a command?
I'm going to show you. Yeah, I will show you that, but I'm also going to give you amazing. copy paste signatures. You are going to all leave here today, as long as you stay on to the end of the call, with your own Google Doc with an email signature template in it that you can copy and paste in. Because then you can see what it looks like, and then you can copy and paste it, and you're going from Google Doc to Google Products, so it all looks perfect and beautiful. You could put links behind it and do all these things. I am going to show you that. And the other thing is, when we were using our personal email, we're not putting clear unsubscribes. There has to be a way for people to opt out. You have to have them opt out. It's required. It's the law. Can't spam. I don't want to get into all that. It's nerdy. It's boring. But you have to have a clear unsubscribe, or how they can get rid of your emails if they don't want it. Here's one more important thing about blast emails through command. When somebody unsubscribes, it gives them the option to unsubscribe from this list or all communication. Most people just unsubscribe from the list. So that means if you're taking people off of smart plans and putting back on because you don't know if it's working, you may be violating that. So if they unsubscribe from the monthly neighborhood nurture, you can't put them back on that. And we see people doing that every now and then. So just be careful with what people are doing. And again, I put that don't be spammy in there for you guys so you can take a peek at it. I'm always updating that with all kinds of bloggy things, nerdy things, if you ever wanted to get nerdy and look at that. But let's talk about images before I show you guys how to make your signature and then how to send quick emails from command. So we have big images in. Now, who's ever seen an email from me? Has anybody ever gotten an email from me? Yeah, so you know I've got the purple branding, right? Like purple's my thing. So let me get to my, this scares me. Here we go. Let me just put my focus on so I don't get 8,000 text messages from my family. So what you're going to see is that everybody see my signature on the doc? So notice I do have a little bit of imagery in here, but it's small images. It's not a giant box with all my information in it. When this comes up in an email, you can tap it, you can click it, and you can get forward on things. When you create an email signature that is a photo only and you drop it into your signature, what can't you do?
Edit it.
Right. It's static. It's not dynamic. So if
Click
I'm
on
on,
it. You can't click on it.
right. So if I'm on your email and I'm trying to call you from my phone because I'm in a place where I'm driving and I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I need to talk to you and I'm tapping the picture and I'm not going anywhere, I'm going to get frustrated. With this consumerism of internet, we want what's quick and fast. And it's funny, we'll Google it instead of just writing it down and then typing it out. It's hilarious where we live in this world. But what happens is it's static and it's frustrating, especially when there's an emergent situation and I have to call someone real quick. It's difficult to get a hold of people. If they can't quickly get a hold of you, they may move on. It may aggravate someone that much. So what you're going to see is, here's what a basic signature would look like. We have to just make sure you have all your local state laws. So if you must have broker address, physical address, and their office phone in there for your state, don't forget to have this. Anywhere the logo is present, you must have. Each office is independently owned and operated. If your logo's there, the DBA logo, so KW New England, you must have it. So in this template I'm going to give you, you can just delete my stuff and then just start putting your name in, right? John Davis, oops, not Savid, right? Then your brokerage, KW, Merrimack Valley, and so on and so on. Because then what we're going to do is you're able to copy this after you put all your hyperlinks, right? So to put a hyperlink, you just select the text, right click, and insert link and push them to where you want them to go. Super important too. I see everybody puts periods between their cell phones on print. That looks gorgeous. But there are some websites and some phones and some email that do not push it that way. Always put the dashes. Always put the dashes and phone number, because the other thing is if you've got a phone number that looks like a computer IP address, it's going to keep pushing them to a website instead of dialing the phone number for you. So an IP address is like a calling card that tells me this is your computer. It's the address of your computer. internet protocol. So that could confuse your clients. So always have the dashes. But as you can see, I mean, this is what my normal signature looks like. It's small, it's compact, it's visually pleasing. You can quickly get to me. I don't put my email in there. Why?
You're
My
sending
email
it
just
from an email, huh?
Coming from it.
No.
like that one cracks me up. Like, let's cut down on that. The other thing is, all spam engines are able to look at this and then look at the things I'm sending, because they do, it reads the content. AI does all these fun things, and it can say, oh, the things she's sending have to do with the things that are in her signature. It's just one more place where my stuff is now not going to go to spam. The other thing you can do is, on your contact card that you're going to share with your client, make sure your KW or your business email is in there, or all the different emails you use. Right? If I'm Brooke at brookethenerd.com, and I have b.silva at KW and salty at KW.com, those are all of my contact cards, so that if anything ever came through to your phone, it would come up because it would say, this may be Brooke Silva. I want to make sure that happens for all of you as well. So Laura just asked, why this way instead of doing a signature and email? I'll tell you why. It's a pain in the butt. So Gmail gives you this tiny little thing that is hard to manipulate. I want to play with it like it's a Word document. If I want to change this to bold and purple, I can quickly come in here and do that. You can't do those things in the native Gmail editor that's in there. It's such a pain in the butt. So I like this because it's like a Word document. I can come in, do whatever I want. I select all, copy, paste right into it. You go into your settings, you go into email signatures, boom, and it's done. And you can see it. So how you see it here is also how it's going to show up on screen and when people see your email. Sometimes when you're in that editor, it does not look like that. And you put it in, and then you go in and you test an email, and you're like, what is this? This is ugly. This is not what I asked for. And when you go back and forth like that, it's frustrating. How you see it on this screen is how you're going to see it everywhere. I know, Jean Marie. I should put my signature glasses up there. I should. But I think people kind of have figured out at this point now that I'm Brooke the Nerd for a reason. It's also on my new Jeep. All right. So we've got that. So what I'm going to do is I will put this in the growth call later. Everyone. Yeah, so Amy, you can add it as your signature right in Gmail. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment so you don't throw up when you see how much stuff is in my Gmail. I'm going to show you how to get to it. So when you click that link right now, it should say copy. Do you want to make a copy of this document? And if it doesn't, please let me know.
Question.
Yep.
So, are you saying there's no, you don't have a logo then, that you don't put a logo in there?
Just my small KW New England. That's it. Because when people get to know me and they know me and I'm transacting out of my Gmail account, they know who I am already. It's on everything else in my command as my like team logo. But when it comes to my Gmail, I'm just keeping it clean and simple because everybody knows who I am already.
What about for those of us that are interfacing like with the public? I mean, that's who we interface with. I mean, people who don't, who aren't in the realtor sphere, you know, and sometimes we have to capture, or we want to identify who we are visually.
Yep. So at that point, also, you're going to ask them to sign up for your web or your app, and we're going to get them to your website so you can see what they're doing. But if we're capturing stuff, we're also on a website, we're on a Google form, we're on somewhere where they may see our information, a landing page, right? There's somewhere, they're not going to just, they're going to get a card with our picture on it. They're going to get something with our face on it. And you could also have multiple signatures. So say you were email connected to someone and you want to be like, hi, thank you for the referral. I've included my picture at the bottom. So when we do meet, you know who I am. You can have multiple signatures. So if you want to do that, you can have unlimited amount of signatures. Like, these people have never met me, but I'm not going to be spamming. All right, so now don't get upset when you see how many unread emails, because don't worry about it, okay? Because I don't read them on my phone, and then they sit, and I do read them. They just don't go away. All right, so when you are in, told you no. So when you come up to the settings, you're going to go see all settings, and in general is where we're going to find this. So all we're going to do is come down here, create a new signature. This could be the one with Pick, Jean Marie, right? And I could go ahead and create a signature. I'm just going to paste everything in. Oops, let me go grab it. Not the link. And all I'm going to do is paste that in. And man, it looks so good in there. It looks exactly like it did. And then when you're in the email, you can choose which signature you want to go. You can also say, I want this to always be my default. Bloop, but let's delete that so I don't. And then you just have to make sure you come down and click Save Changes, or it will not save. That is one of the weird things that Gmail still doesn't do, is that automatic save. All right, let me jump into Command. Oh, we're gonna get rocking and rolling in that. So David asked, how do we send a quick one-off email in Command to a group of smaller people? Maybe you know of something that's upcoming that's very specific to a group of people. Maybe all your golf buddies, maybe all the people you're doing things with, and you need to get a quick email out. The other thing is, we as agents have something called perfection paralysis, where we want to design these gorgeous HTML emails and we want them to be perfect. And we put 30,000 words in there. We just pour our hearts into these things, and then nobody reads them. Again, those are those click-throughs that are going to get us the information to know, hey, I hit the mark with this email. This is exactly what my database needed. The other thing we need to be careful of is, how many of you have to do something on your phone where it says load images when you look at an email? Has that ever popped up for anyone? Okay. The same thing is happening to other people. So while you're spending all this time designing these gorgeous emails, nobody's seeing them, because you have to load the images. So we're working on these things and nobody's loading them. Go ahead, George.
What about GMass?
GMass.
Yeah, it's part of Gmail. It allows you to send a whole bunch of emails at once. It gives you the ability to send those out. It's a subscription you have to pay, and you have some time to be able to send multiple emails out through there. I don't know if that still did the same thing. Were you violating anything? Is it going into spam, or does that work around that and give you the ability to actually do what we were just talking about?
I'll have to look into it. I haven't played with it, but I would say this: why would you pay for something when you get 5,000 emails a month free through Command, right? If you're doing that much email in a month, let's talk about what you're sending and who you're sending it to, because we might be able to dial it back and get you into value conversations versus just, it's not the message for all, right? Not everybody needs to hear every message. We need to bring value so we don't get the unsubscribes. We don't get sent to spam. So I'll look into that, because I would like to see that, but I haven't played with that yet. But let's do this. Let's create a quick one-off email. How many of you are on here are leadership, market center, tech trainers? I see a few of you. How many of you got an email from me today? Guess what? I didn't send that to you individually. I love you, but I had a lot of people to talk to in your world about something that was going on, right? About an update, maintenance that's coming up that I need you to get out to your agents. I love you. That was not a one-off to you. It probably felt like that. And your clients want to feel like that. I'm going to say a very silly phrase, but it works. Ugly gets opens. I tricked my productivity agents with this for years. They were like, we love how responsive and caring Brooke is. She's always emailing us to see if we're okay and hitting the mark. No, it was a smart plan, right? But then when we'd sit down at the 90 days and we'd say that, I was like, how do you think your clients would feel? How you felt when they thought they were getting a one-off email from you and they don't have to load the images and they're not going to see the HTML anyway. So what that is simply a smart plan in command. So David Heyer, this is for you, my friend. Hope you're paying attention. I hope you're back. And George and Steve, could you watch the chat for me in case while I'm sharing I miss something, because I do have it off. All right, so here's the demo and training account. So when we want to send a one-off, if you're sending bulk email to someone, more than a couple of people, and you're not doing it out of your email, we're going to do it from a smart plan, because we should be adding a follow-up task. Most of the things we're sending in bulk, it shouldn't be a set it and forget it. We want to have a task to remind us to do something or follow up after. That's the magic of smart plans. So hit that red KW if you don't know what the words are. We're going to go to smart plans to make you wicked smart. And this is where you're going to create a custom plan. You can see here's the smart plan update I sent out to 92 people today. And half of them have already responded. Thanks, Brooke. No problem. Sorry, Steve. I know you love that. So what I'm going to do is click create. And remember, you can rewatch this later when it gets uploaded. Don't just watch, pay attention. Don't feel the need to follow along. So I'm going to do, oops, test growth call. Can you tell I do test ones often? So now it's going to push us into the ability to build a smart plan. So what we want to happen, David wanted a quick one-off email to go to a group of agents. Say, David, you want to talk to your ALC or people who are tagged that they're going to a class. So what I'm going to do is drag or click on email. Oops, too fast. I guess I want to remove it. And now I have an email. And I'm going to write that ugly email, right? The only thing you have to remember here is you got to put your signature. It auto puts the unsubscribe, but you may have to have your email signature up. And then, let me paste it right in, right? So I always keep it on the side on a little note on my, my desktop. So maybe this isn't about events. So then I'm going to set a delay for however many days you want. I'm going to create a task. And I'm going to say, follow up on class invite and lunch order. And we've got field identifiers. This is not Facebook. This is field identifiers. Somebody actually, and I see it, it's the Facebook logo. And I have not been able to unsee this on the field identifier until someone said that. So this is, you can put things in so that when your task comes up, all you have to do is tap the person's name in your command app and it brings you right to where you have to be. So I'm going to go contact, first name, space, and their phone number. Okay. And I'm going to get save. And I'm going to go back to smart plan. So it's been saved. So now I've got an email that's going out. And then in 3 days, it's going to remind me to call David Heyer about this. Because what I'm going to do is you can put them on a smart plan in two places, right? Right from the contact or from here. So what I'm going to do is add a contact. I'm going to find the one I want here. Let's see, there he is. And I'm going to add to a smart plan. David Heyer, you're going to get this gobbledygook. And there it goes. And now David is on a smart plan. And in 3 days, I'm going to get a reminder to call him and find out what he wants for lunch. He really wants the Guinness beef stew I'm making today, which I am going to freeze some for him and put aside. But it makes you smarter because email is wonderful and it's this great tool. But the fortune is in the what? The fortune is in the
Follow-up.
Exactly. Who are my pivot people on here? My pivot shift livers. I see you. Golden letter works when you follow up. Pair letters work when you follow up. You can't send an email and expect action without follow up. So that is why I love smart plans so much, because uglies get opened. People feel like you're speaking to just them. Again, sorry, Steve, I love you and I do text you often. But now I'm able to hit a wider demographic with more value and remember to follow up on it so that that person feels like someone of value in my community. So questions on that?
Brooke,
Yep.
I can't, I'm having a hard time keeping up with you. But just because I'm slow. When it comes to this, but I remember a time when you did send out in the content, this maybe last year or maybe even before that, and it was an email. And I can remember sending out this email to like 400 people.
Yep.
And so now you're saying we should do it in command and
What
and
kind
then
of
put a
email?
task. What?
What kind of email are you sending? It all depends. If I'm trying to just invite people to things, or if it's more than 10 people, or if it's something I need a follow-up to remind me to do something, I'm not doing a one-off. So I'll be in somebody's file, I'll click their email, it'll open my Gmail and I'll write it from there. But this is if you want to get a group of people.
Right, I can't remember what those emails were about. They weren't even invitations. It was some
So
kind of information.
was it the pair equity analysis? Because a lot of the things I do too, it's to cue you up to write something or do something, right? It's to,
We sent it out to
I
our
have things
users.
like, yeah, I also send out like Cyber Ninja News.
No, it wasn't that.
No,
No,
If
this
it's
was
in-
something that you know how you give us the content to put in our Facebook for the 3
Yep.
days? Well, before you started doing that, a couple of maybe 4 or 5 times throughout the last couple of 2-3 years, there was an email and you sent it out, we sent it out to our database. I'm
So
trying
that
to,
would
I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I
yeah.
can't remember right now. Oh, wait a minute. One of
Let me
them.
see, am
a
I
new
still sharing my
issue-
command? Can you guys still see my command? Am I on? Okay.
Yeah, I
So
can
Yes.
usually what that is, it's
Yes.
smart plan.
found it. One of them was a new issue of my magazine is here. The Y for
Oh,
refi, making memory.
Yep.
Don't
Those are all smart
want to
plans.
sell your home.
Yep. All
You
smart
never-
plans.
So you do it all through the smart plans.
Yep. So if you look, one of the ones I have is a not met touch task only. So if you don't have Twilio, things like who are you? You know, so it's a way to reach out to your database if it's somebody who came in and they never responded to you on a Z who shall not be named lead, and you're trying to figure out if it's worth your time with these people. Is their interest? Who are you? I either want to get you in or keep you here on a drip. So we build these smart plans for you. So all you have to do is click add smart plan, go in and read it and make sure you don't have to edit anything. And then you can put them on whoever you want. So we pre-write it. You just got to double check it.
Challenging.
And there are hundreds of thousands of smart plans. So if you think you need to do something, I can guarantee you a quick search in smart plans will bring up anything. But as we wrap up, let's talk about this. Email signatures. I love you. I love seeing your faces, but spam loves it even more. I really want you guys to stay out of spam. So one, we have to have permission. We have to have correct information. So that means we have to update our data banks to make sure the emails reflect. Guys, this is a perfect time to do fall cleanup and update your client gratitude list to make sure, come the holidays, that you have all the information for your PI events, your client events, and so that everybody gets the info they need. And then also stay out of spam and make sure that your messages are hitting the desired mailboxes. And David, if you were worried about that logging, don't forget, by using and connecting your KW email in your settings in command, every email you have with that person back and forth through your KW email will log itself in your timeline. So you have a full timeline of everything you've ever talked about with that person as a touch.
So Brooke, what you're telling me is if I'm doing a one-on-one email, just clicking on their email in their contact list, which is opening up Gmail,
Mm-hmm.
it's gotta originate from there for it to be recorded, right? If I just open up Gmail and type in their
Correct.
name, it's not
As
going
long
into
as you're
command.
using your KW, it doesn't even matter. As long as your KW is logged in your settings, even if you don't start it in command, it's going to go in. It's going to get sucked in.
So you can start from anywhere.
You
Yes.
can, as long, you could start from your Gmail on your phone, as long as it comes from your KW email, being sucked right in. Sound effects are
Hey,
free.
Brooke, people that don't use the KW email, is there a way to spoof it for other emails? Is
What's
that
wrong with
available?
you? What's wrong with you? You want my green tea? Nobody can spell green.
Yeah, it's true. More
As long
versatility.
as it's a Google workspace, if you purchase and you use Google Workspace, you can pull it through. Just remember, all your communications are usually coming from your KW email in smart plans and everything, so you may confuse it. But yeah, you can go in as long as you're using Google Workspace, Brian, and you can. Unless and I have a call coming up, let's work on that call just to make sure your stuff's flowing through.
Thank you.
You got it, Brian. George.
So I found an agent who was forwarding all of their KW emails to their Gmail. But when you're inside Gmail and you go to send out an email, you can choose which email it's coming from. So they're clicking on it, it's coming from their KW, but they're actually logged into their Gmail account.
I
So
don't understand that, and I'm trying to wrap my head around that as a tech person, because I don't know if you know this, but Google allows you to take everything. Like, it's called takeout. The other thing is you don't have unlimited space on a personal Gmail. So people then get mad at me when their personal Gmails are all jacked up because they ran out of space and now they have to buy googly space.
well, they told me they did it because they have all of their folders already set up in their personal, and they didn't want to have to recreate it all in their KW, so they're just using their regular Gmail.
Takeout.google.com, takeout.google.com. You can move it right over. And you can download your stuff and back it up periodically if that makes you feel good. Takeout is glorious. You can even get history. You can get bookmarks. You can get username and passwords. It saves everything for you.
What is,
And
what
that's
is,
when you, it's takeout.google.com. And it allows you to move it from one Google to another Googlies or to another platform. Say you're going to start using Outlook. I don't know why they crash constantly, but people do. Or you want to see histories or bookmarks and pull those through. Contacts. They're all in there. Go ahead, click on it, and you'll be able to see all the things that you can pull through. Your logs, if you have a blogger, your calendar. Everything is in there, and KW gives that freely as well. We don't lock down any of those pieces. You can pull it out at any time. But usually, just use your KW. It protects you. You've got unlimited storage, and we're business professionals, right? Or have a custom domain URL. John, that's awesome. See? All right, friends, I'm going to put that email signature one more time in here for you to play with, to rip it up. Again, it copies. I'm going to go put it in the growth call after, but let's help you stay out of spam jail, because I can't get you out of jail. It's nearly impossible. We're going to have to make a new email at that point. So let's stay out of spam jail. Let's bring value to our database, and let's clean up our email signatures. And if you do it, send me an email at v.silva so I can see what you're doing. All right? All right, friends, have a fabulous Monday. We will see you on Summer of Shift tomorrow. Bye, gang.